How about a big round of applause as David Crabb comes up to the stage.
I moved to New York from Texas 12 years ago, and I was like the total country mouse. I was like, those buildings are so tall, and those two guys are holding hands on the sidewalk, and there's Bjork eating a niçoise salad. I was ridiculous. And my first job was in a gallery in Chelsea, which was like the cradle of nonchalant, been there, done that behavior. And it was very challenging for me to try and cultivate like a very New York cool attitude. I lived here a few months and I had to find my own apartment. So I answered an ad in Craigslist for a place in Williamsburg. And that threatened me because Williamsburg was like the home of like nonchalance. Like my pants are too tight to feel anything. I live in Williamsburg. So I got done up and I messed my hair up just enough. And I went to the apartment. Now the apartment was a walk up right by the BQE. And it was literally like under the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. I got there and I knocked on the door, and I heard someone coming down the stairs behind the door, and the steps were so intense and thuddy that I just kept thinking, oh my God, they must be at the door now. No, they must be at the door now. No, they must be at the door now. I thought that like Sigourney Weaver was gonna enter the door in the cargo lifter from Aliens. The door opens and like this guy put the gay in Gaysian. This is the gayest Asian man that I have ever met. He was in kind of like these blue pleathery pants. He had like a cap sleeve baby tee with the word boy across the front. He had really silky, sheeny hair and a cowboy hat that was made of crushed velour with a leopard print. He looks at me and he says, "Hi, I'm Jimmy." And I said, "Well, hi, I'm David." He takes me upstairs to the third floor and he opens the door and it's like some kind of gay atom bomb had gone off in the apartment. The walls were decorated in those Herb Ritz pictures from the 90s of different like oiled up muscular black men in the desert holding like globes and cubes. Do you remember those? And then framed really huge like over the fireplace is this, do you remember those really popular pictures of different muscular shirtless men? They were holding babies. Do you remember those? He had one like really big, it had the word strength below it. And then the icing on the gay cake was that throughout this experience, Kate Bush's Hounds of Love album was playing. So he invites me in, and we go down the hallway past what would be my bedroom, which is this tiny, horrible cavern with no windows. And at the end of the hall, the front is his bedroom. And right as we're standing there, there's like a traffic jam on the BQE, and it's like, motherfucker, fuck you! And I feel like Keanu Reeves is gonna like drive the bus from Speed through the wall. And I kind of startle, and Jimmy says, "It's not like it's all the time, but sometimes during the day it can get loud. Can you handle this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can handle this, whatever, it's noise." So we walk back into the living room and we start talking, and I tell him I work at a gallery, and he tells me that he works in the fashion industry. Spoiler alert. And we chat for a little while, and at one point he says, "You know what, David? I really like you. I'll be right back." So he walks to his bedroom, and I notice when he walks away, he has like a funny gait, like a limp. And I'm like, oh, that's why his steps are so loud. He has kind of like there's something happening, right? So he shuts the door, which I think is weird, but it gives me time to contemplate, like, maybe I could deal with the little room. It's a little loud. It's very gay in here, but I can handle all of this, right? And then from down the hallway, I hear, I look, and Jimmy is crawling down the hallway. He has put on these fabulous little onion skin black silky shorts, and he has no legs from the knee down. He bounds up on his legs and does some crazy, insane Cirque du Soleil spin and like bounds on a stool in front of me. And I am so shocked that what comes out of my mouth is, "Wow, you really get around." And then he says, "Yeah, this is how I like to be at home. I don't like to wear my prosthetics, and you need to see it. Can you handle this?" I'm like, yeah, I can totally handle this. This is totally normal right now. What's happening? And then he goes on to talk to me about like, it's easy for me around the house without my legs because I have my stools. And then I look around and there are like 20 stools. The gayness of the apartment overshadowed the fact that I am surrounded by towers of stools, under stools. They're everywhere. And then he goes on this rant about his previous roommate. He's like, my last roommate was very dirty and unclean. He never cleaned the floors, and they got very sticky, and my stump got infected. And when he does this, he raises one at me the way you would a finger if you were angry at somebody. And I just say, yeah, that's fine. And I just start blathering like a bank teller in a holdup. You know, I'm like, I would totally respect your privacy. You seem like a really cool person. You should be able to be however you want to be at your house. Like the subtitle is, don't shoot me, just please don't shoot me. So we talk for a while, and then he says, I'll be right back. And he does some crazy, woo, like down to his room, and the door shuts. And I'm really trying to play it cool. And in his room, I start to hear like weird metallic buckling and thudding, and I'm like, what else can he be taking off? Do you know what I mean? Like his arms work, his head seemed connected, what could be happening? And I start to panic, and I start to think about, can I handle this? Can I handle the gay art? Can I handle the Brooklyn Queens Expressway? Can I handle him like spinning all over the apartment? And the whole time I'm trying to process this, the song keeps repeating, if only I could, I'd make a deal with God. I'd get him to swap us places. I'd be running up that hill. And then right then, against every piece of advice my mother ever gave me about polite behavior, I packed up all my stuff and I ran out of the apartment. Ironically, I would move to Williamsburg just 2 months later, where I have lived pretty much for the last 12 years. And I sometimes go by this apartment that Jimmy lived in, and I wonder, like, what happened to him? Like, did he find a roommate? And even though that kind of behavior was really aggressive and confrontational, and it totally brought out the country mouse in me, I understand why he did it, because he definitely got the answer that he wanted. I could not handle this. Thank you.
David Crabb.